Who is a celebrity that is very attractive but seems like they have zero charisma? Dakota Johnson comes to mind for me. However, she has charisma in interviews but struggles to carry it over into the movies she makes. It's Cara Delevingne. Her role in Valerian and 1000 Planets was like watching very pretty white bread. Cheryl Cole, like looking into the eyes of a pigeon. Sydney Sweeney comes to mind. Personality of a dinner plate. Gal Gadot. An attractive milquetoast. Every one of the Kardashian and Jenner children. They all seem to have the personality of a wet dough ball. Orlando Bloom. Which is why he was a key player in not one but two mega successful franchises but never managed to successfully carry a movie as the lead. I get a lot of flack for this, but Glenn Powell comes off to me like I tried to make a leading man. Megan Fox. She always seemed kinda bored, almost Paris Hilton-ish when she talked to people. Jake Elordi. Peak genetic lottery, but talks like he's waking up from a 12-hour nap. I don't know about other sports, but 95% of top soccer are football players. Every time one of their private DMs gets leaked or shared or whatever, it's like a 12-year-old. Zoe Kravitz. She has the personality of a wet sock. Madison Beer. She's beautiful, but there's absolutely nothing else about her. Jessica Biel seems to have gotten very famous in the early or mid-2000s because of websites like Just Jared or Popperholic posting paparazzi photos of her in bikinis, but acting-wise she's unfortunately not very good. She continues to be famous, now more because of Timberlake, but definitely not because of charisma or talent. Honestly, most of the Nepo baby actors, like they are often hot and act well, but a lot of the times are missing that X factor because they don't need to have it to break through. Blake Lively. Absolutely gorgeous human being. Personality and charisma of a pebble. Taylor Swift. Technically conventionally attractive, sex appeal of a bus stop. Lily Rose Depp. She's so beautiful but everything feels so forced. Jared Leto. I'd give anything to look like 2000s Leto. Too bad he has no personality besides being off-putting and weird. I worked at a Lana Del Rey concert a few years ago, and her energy level the entire time was zero. Timothy Chalamet Ding Dong. Dude is boring. My husband's uncle is a pretty well-known actor. Not Brad Pitt level, but recognizable by most. In movies his dynamic. On the red carpet, dynamic. In real life? Nothing. He just mumbles in a half-dead kind of way. I see him 2 to 3 times a year, and it took 10 years before he actually looked me in the eye. Very disappointing. LOL. Timothy Chalamet. However you spell that. Alexandra Daddario. I made the mistake of watching Mayfair Witches and wow. She has anti-charisma. Sam Worthington. Just. Bletch. Dry, boiled potatoes and stale white bread served on a cheap paper plate. Most actors are hella boring NGL. It's very rare to get a Brando. We need one now, probably more than ever. Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Zoe Kravitz. Not nearly as beautiful as her mother, but still very striking. But she seems so incredibly boring. She's also the only person ever to share a Prince anecdote and make it seem boring AF. https://youtube.be/kfmjmdntbhq?I=sign LJU-B5 Vurar 0 LPF for K. Sydney Sweeney. If she didn't have huge knockers that she was willing to show everyone, she wouldn't be anything. Blake Lively. She can't act. 80s Dolph Lundgren. But so hot I'd overlook it. Apparently in real life he's quite bright, so maybe playing brutes didn't bring out his best. Ryan Reynolds. His whole persona feels so forced. Unpopular opinion maybe, but Henry Cavill. I actually don't think he's a bad actor, and I feel like in real life he should be an interesting person on paper, but every time he opens his mouth in interviews it's like there's just nothing there. No personality and nothing interesting to say. Maybe he's just shy? Notice nobody said Jeff Goldblum. Dude has charisma for days. Centuries. Even. Taylor Swift. I like her music for what it is, but she has the most boring interviews and mildest PR. Glenn Powell. I do not believe he is a real person. He was created in a lab. Zoe Kravitz. She is so beautiful and has as much charisma as a black hole. Glenn Powell. I can't even remember his last name most of the time. He's so lacking in anything interesting. Face and body of a Ken doll. Charisma of era Ken doll. The entire Kardashian clan. Seems like Sydney Sweeney's entire identity is wrapped up in a hey, everybody, look at my boobs. Don't get me wrong. They're spectacular. But, come on. Jennifer Aniston. She was on inside the actor's studio and was incredibly boring. Anya Taylor-Joy is always so dull in interviews. Ryan Philippe. Just completely vacuous. Dakota Johnson. I dunno why she just seems like she's never cultivated an actual personality. The Hot Ones episode of Natalie Portman broke a very long crush when I saw she is just a cardboard cutout of a pretty person. Glenn Powell. He is white bread. Harry Styles. I feel like I'm missing something because to me he has the charisma of wet paper make. John David Washington. Megan Fox. Objectively stunning, but every interview feels like she's slightly inconvenienced by having to be there. What this thread has taught me is that a lot of Redditors don't actually know what charisma is. IDK, maybe Jacob Elordi. Kit Harington always seems like he's much more charismatic as Jon Snow. Zayn from 1D. He's so sexy but also kind of seems like a bump on a log. Billie Eilish has the charisma of migraine. Taylor Swift. Pretty and also an empty vessel, hollow inside. Henry Cavill. I will die on this hill. I thought Blake Lively was just slow for the longest time, still not 100% sure TBH. I used to think Brie Larson was like this. Then I watched her last Mealsy interview and 100% changed my opinion. She's amazing. That said, Gal Gadot. Man on man, does Emily Browning fall hard into this category? Zac Efron. I understand he's handsome but he seems like, I don't know, he's the poster boy for this question. Jason Momoa. He even seems like he does. But I still don't think he actually does. Point to one clever off-the-cuff remark he's made or funny situation or practical joke he's done.